There's not a person that would not say something about this walking up.
We get plenty of comments.
Like the dragon's erupting through the earth and it's just like sharding out all these gnarly stones.
Did this come before or after the big pond? I'm Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy. This is my channel, Greg Wittstock, the Pond Guy, and I'm with Joe from Black Koi Water Features, and we are in
Pickens, South Carolina.
And this is how they're living the aquascape lifestyle. Hey, I love it. The pooches. I'm the Pond Guy, Greg.
Joel.
Joel, nice to meet you.
And this is Sadie.
Sadie.
And Kazi.
Hey, Sadie and Kazi. And they're not related, I heard.
No.
Even though they look like it.
And they know Joe.
And this young man, let's come on out here. So, Joel, I've been to a lot of water features, but this is one of the first that I've actually had to cross a moat to get to the house.
That was a special design element that we had kind of built on purpose to cross over the pond. When we built the house, we knew we wanted to have a water garden in front, and we decided to do the bridge as a design element so that you would walk across the bridge as you're coming up to the front door,
Cool.
crossing over the water garden to make sure that everybody got a chance to see it when they would come visit.
Yeah.
And plus, we would get a chance to see it. So we've got office windows and library windows on either side.
Nice.
So we get nice views of the pond.
But you had a pond built before you met Joe, and then you went on a pond tour and saw a project that he had built.
Correct. The house was built in 2001. We had a small water garden, probably about half the size of this one, but we were never really satisfied with it. So we saw Joe's work in 2012 on the local pond tour and contacted him and kind of got that ball rolling. And then he started work in early 2013.
So this pond's been in for 11 years. You got established water lilies. What's it like for you? Is this therapeutic for you to work in the garden?
Oh yeah, I mean this is where I spend the majority of my time. You know, just either messing with the plants. I like to try different plants to see how they do, you know, in the water garden, see if they survive, if they thrive.
It's nice for me to see an 11-year-old established aquascape ecosystem pond. I gotta imagine that there's not a person alive, a UPS driver, any friends that come over to us for the first time. There's not a person that would not say something about this walking up.
We get plenty of comments. And of course, from Joe's standpoint, you know, one of the things that I asked him to do was, said, you got to give me something that is going to be as low maintenance as, you know, as we can get.
Yes.
You know, obviously there is going to be some maintenance. And having the lower wetland filter and then the upper wetland filter, you know, stocked full of plants made a huge difference.
It's an ecosystem. Yeah. And it gets nicer with age.
Yeah. Now, our original one, we had just a skimmer box and with a UV light, but I was still doing a ton more work than I'm doing now. A lot more maintenance.
How do the dogs like it?
Well, this is not their yard, unfortunately. Their yard, the backyard is fenced in for them.
But when we walked up, they were in the window. It looks like they like to hang out there.
Right, they like to sit and watch,
so
they don't get to participate.
They're the observers of the front pond. What is the story behind the dragon?
So the dragon he's been with us since probably about 95. We picked him up in Thailand on one of our Asian trips. Always knew where we wanted it, you know, somewhere in a water garden somewhere.
Yep.
So we've just been kind of carrying it around with us to a couple different houses. Finally found, you know, the place to put it. We did not have, the first water garden was not nearly big enough, you know, to have that dragon as a focal point.
Gave you this project to try to incorporate it.
I love that. I love that feature. It's so much personality. It's like it's exploding out of the ground with the shards of stone. It was really fun to come up with that idea. Good collaboration.
Rather than just put it on a pedestal, you know, the idea was that, you know, the dragon is kind of like, you know, bursting up through the flagstone, kind of like protecting, you know, the whole home front and whatnot. And it's been great. Literally zero problems with it.
Very unique water feature. Can you give us a little tour of what you built here?
Absolutely. Let's do that.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of wildlife.
Well, you got 50 acres.
A little bit
in the mountains.
Yeah, but we have plenty of black bear in the area. I just gotten done walking the girls in the morning. Came back, saw this big splash of water just going across the driveway, and looked on our security camera. A bear had jumped in the pond, stayed there for about 5 minutes, and then when the dogs started barking at him from inside the house, and the bear took off, thankfully did not damage the line.
Amazing. That's pretty cool. But we're in the middle of a woods. What I really love is how every different area that we stand and walk has a different feel. And this deck, you had this deck designed around the pond.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
So this all started with an existing water feature, as a lot of these projects do. They have a water feature that needs to be upgraded, it's failed, it's not working, or it just doesn't look right. So here, there was a little pond over here, and this one's obviously much bigger. So a couple of the requirements were using big boulders. They wanted a water garden first and foremost. They love to plant. You can see the beautiful water plants, and landscaping surrounding it is just gorgeous. There was a dragon requirement as well. They got this dragon on a trip, and they wanted it to be a focal point and integrated into the water feature. On this pond, we have lots of large boulders. We got these unique slabs. This slab idea is actually, I remember dreaming about wanting to do this for a customer, and I finally had someone brave enough to do it. But each one of those was kind of cut and chiseled, and then we laid them out on a field, and then we placed them individually one by one and stacked this stacked stone underneath. But I just love, this is my favorite feature of the whole project. I just love the way the water kind of goes through. I call it water grout. Just love the way the water kind of meanders through here, and how everything has aged so well. We've got all the moss and all the lichens on the boulders and all the aquatic plants. This dragon, believe it or not, we actually dug this up. We found a dragon buried as a fossil right there, and we turned it into a water feature. That's not good. So the other thing that's really cool is they use the stream here as a nursery. So a lot of these aquatic plants, some of them can be very invasive. When you put them in pots, they're more contained, but I love it because everything is just a nursery, and you don't even need to do anything. It's got nutrients, it's pulling from the water. Of course, it's got water. Aquatic plants are literally the easiest plants to grow. So here we've got this large slab that actually, from this view, it's incredible. This is the intake skimming system here. So surface debris falls in the pond, collects, and gets skimmed into this area. It is a must for any large-scale pond. Of course, the dragon is so cool. That was another kind of wild idea that we had. We had this dragon, and we wanted to turn it into a fountain, and we wanted to do something kind of different. So it's like, why not? I don't know. We just had this idea of this kind of shards, like the dragon's kind of coming through the soil, like the dragon's erupting through the earth, and it's just like sharding out all these gnarly stones. This is another cool feature. This is actually a chair that we carved out of. It is literally the coolest chair ever, carved out of a boulder, and of course you have this incredible view. So this area here is actually the bog filtration system, so that's what's keeping the water so clear. But it's also not only that, it's also all this vegetation along the stream and in the pond. Because there's so much aquatic life, this feature stays crystal clear all the time. This is definitely one of those gardens you can explore and see new things as you're walking around every time you come to this place. I just love it. These are some big slabs that we put in after the pond, just to kind of give it, like another statement piece, another accent point. This tree, we actually transplanted. It was over here by the old pond, and we dug it up here. It is just the perfect place for a Japanese maple. You're underneath a canopy of oaks and pines, and it just kind of weeps down up and over the waterfall. I just love it.
So Joe, what is the story with this? Did this come before or after the big pond?
Well, this was after. Like most people that have water features, you get hooked, right?
Yeah.
So this was like, he wanted some curb appeal when he pulls up to the house. And when you have that by the front door, why not have this by the driveway, right?
Can you give us a little tour of how you actually created this?
Yeah, let's do that. This feature all started with the idea of having some curb appeal. So when you drive into the property, you get kind of greeted with this beautiful pondless waterfall. So he also had, just like the dragon, he had this laying around. So this is a little leaf fountain here, and I love how we kind of integrated that into this feature. So we have multiple starting points. We've got water starting over here, we've got water starting up here. And just like the other feature, this is an older waterfall. But I just love it. It's matured, all the creeping jenny, the taro, all the water aquatic plants, the moss, the lichens are filling in. It's just great. Pondless waterfalls are low maintenance. This feature in particular barely do anything to it. It just recirculates. It loops the water, and the water plants block out the sun. I mean, it's just a great feature. Look how clear the water is. Look how natural it is.
The thing that's incredible, look at that flame. Every water feature is a unique work of art, one-of-a-kind custom creation. No two designs are alike. This is art. And if you were to look at hiring an artist to do something, you've got to see their work. So the reason that I do all of these vlogs is that you can see all of the different arts. These are built exactly the same way with the Aquascape 20 products and 20-step methodology. You tell me, I think Joe is a master artist. When I can come over and I can see rocks cut in with a rivet of stream running through them, you never know, I never know, you never know what I'm going to see when I visit a certified Aquascape contractor's work. If you're interested in living the Aquascape lifestyle and finding a certified Aquascape artist by you, check out the link below. I love my job.